Hello there, it's Maggie, the Cheshire Crafter here. Now, I have a change of plan for tonight because it is so icy outside. The gritters are out gritting the roads, but the pavements are extremely slippy. They're already icy and it's quite treacherous. So, because I was walking round to my choir practice, I'm not going, and instead, what I thought I might do is show you some of the Christmas cards I've completed for this year and just look back on some of the Christmas card designs that I made in previous years, and also what has influenced them selling and where they've been sold. Um, the cards where I've added Christmas roses onto here to add dimension are going to be too expensive to get through the post, so I've put those in with parcels. However, these are my main Christmas cards I'm going to be sending out this year. Let's take a look at the others that I've made to send out. And again, I've put these in already with parcels. So this one then is specific for a friend. This comes from a stamp that I had with a Rennie Mackintosh design. I'm sorry if you've got the reflection from my neon light above my head there. Fluorescent light, I should say. My friend's daughter got married in the Rennie Mackintosh house for an art lover just outside Glasgow, and I have a stamp with that on. So I wanted my cards this year, both to them and their daughter, reflect that sentiment. So the cards then have been stamped, watercolour painted, and then placed over velvet ribbon. I do use rich velvet ribbons if I can. This is a velvet purple. It's on this cardstock that's got a little bit of a background. It's got a sheen, so it's pearlescent to it, and it implies music. So that would be lovely for something like the holly and the ivy, wouldn't it, theme? And then I've used the greetings. I've die cut the greetings with my machine, and I've glued those down using my Quickie glue pen. I've elevated these on 3D foam pads so they don't come apart. I've stamped on the inside, and then on the back I've written handmade for you, and that will go inside a card. Now the greetings that I've made and die cut, if you're only ever going to buy one pack, I've had this now, I must have had it 8 years, and I use it every year. It's the one I go to each time. It has all the greetings that you can mix and match about. Winter wishes, Merry Christmas, season's greetings, Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, peace, Noel, joy, cheer. It really covers a lot of things, and because of the size that they are, they will go through the small size of the die cutting machines. So for me, that's through my sapphire. I can sit and do those through the year at a time when I'm not trying to put Christmas cards together. Now, as you see, the gold highlighted on that, the gold paint, comes from this. It's from Art Studio. It's from Art Studio, metallic watercolours. There is such a brilliant sheen on those. I've used this one, which looks like an antique gold, and I've used it in another card that I'm going to show you that I use my watercolours in. My watercolours are Winsor and Newton palette, and if you see the price on this one, you won't believe it. This set was £1 sterling from the range, and I have to say, these colours and pearlescent range, going from a pale gold through to pewter, copper, and a really deep copper, are absolutely brilliant, and look at the shine that you get on that. Now, likewise, I did a card, if I can find it, using this stamp from Sheena Douglas from my friends. I've got some friends that have botanical background like I do, and I also made a Christmas rose throw, if you remember, for my friend's daughter, and that's in the post for her. So that's a rubber stamp. This is what I did with that same background card. I used the pearlescent silver card. I stamped the image, painted them with watercolours, and I've used the gold to highlight the stamens on green velvet ribbon, and then I stamped Christmas rose and then put an edge around it. On the inside, I've used this generic stamp, I think the most this year, and the same on the back, handmade for you. In previous years, I've used these woodware stamps designed by Jane Gill. I buy these at the Works or the Range, and as you can see, there's a large area for that. I found that I could stamp with this well, but it didn't stamp with a gold stamp, which is what I wanted. So the reason that we've got all these big bubbles and baubles, I made use of that for putting in place lots of sparkly things. So I used a variety of mother of pearl buttons, dyed buttons, sequins, little beads in between, one of those little sentiments, die cut sentiments. On the top I used the liquid chrome pen. I'll get that and show you that in a moment. And then on the inside, because it's a navy blue card, you need to put a card that people can write on the inside with that, and there's a navy blue pen. I did find I could write on it very well though with silver pen, but I will put a label on the outside of that when I put those in the post. I did mostly blue colourway because I liked that on the card, but I did an option of a pink colourway, which I thought was really quite nice, and I used some different sparkly bits on that. Next. The reason that I made the blue stamped cards this year is that I had this woodware stamp. Again, it's by Jane Gill, and if you can see I stamped this in blue last year, but there are plenty of spaces for berries, sequins, beads, nouveau drops on this, and it's stamped very well. There are two sentiments, one from our house to yours, and the other, it actually said best wishes at Christmas time. This year I've crossed time off and just put for Christmas, but I'm going to show you what they looked like. I made small cards for them. Not everybody wants to send a large card, and I felt that they were pretty enough to send either to men or to women. I put Noel and I put joy on some, and as you can see, I packed these in packs of 4 or 6, and I sold a lot of those on eBay to raise funds for the local children's hospice. 30%, which is the profits, goes to the hospice, and people have come back for more of these this year. The only thing I need to say when I'm selling them is that they're not suitable for small children as they contain small parts. Now there are various packs that go with this, including decoupage packs, make up your own card packs, and I in the past have made up lots of cards to send to my family. I can't send any more, but I'm just going to show you this card. This is just a small card that I made using this pack. You can tone beautifully with dark greens, with deep red ribbons and turquoise ribbon with this pack. There's also washi tape that matches. This is just a small card which happens to be a similar design to this wreath here. And again, it's 4 by 4. And as you can see from this one, I'm holding it upside down. As you can see from this card, it opens this way, so there is a direction to it. If you have a look at the paper underneath, you'll see that I've embossed it, so it will go through the embossing folders really well. We've got about 4 layers of decoupage there on that, but it's actually still quite flat and very lightweight to go through the post. The other thing I added in here to reflect the berries is just some nouveau drops. There. One of my favourite ranges to work with all year round is the Santoro Gorgeous range. This is by the company from London, Sometimes the logo is on the back of the cards or on the labels, like this. This polar bear, this one penguins, and all I do is I use the backing papers, I use the feature and the shadow sometimes, link them up, add them up with 3D foam pads, and I usually have satin ribbon. You'll recognise I bought this recently from the works. I usually add a coloured mother of pearl button, and then a simple sentiment inside and an envelope, and then they sell in packs of 2, 4, 6, and then this year I've done some bundles because the postage is getting to be quite expensive, but this is one of them. Sticking with the navy theme, these again are the 6x4 cards. Last year I stamped out the village in white and just placed little snowflakes on the card and a die cut Santa in the sky, and then I've lapped over it with snowflake or snowfall acetate from Hunky Dory. That can make the real difference in your card making. And on the back I've just secured, on the back I've just secured that in place with double-sided red tape, and you can write on it in silver or white. Sometimes a very simple card design can be enhanced. This looks very much like a Lucy Cromwell design to me, and if you look at it, it's decoupaged. But look how this would look if I layered over the top of that some vellum to soften that image. This implies snowfall against it. I could glue a sentiment at the top here. I could use it as a belly band around a card and put the sentiment on it. You could have an opening folded card, like a trifold card, with a belly band around it from vellum. And I'm going to show you some of the vellums that I have in my stocks here. Vellums come in all sorts of colours, shapes and sizes. This is an A4. This would go great with that navy set that I've got, wouldn't it? It'll take alcohol inks from your pro markers, it'll take ink stains, and then this is a pack I've had for years. You can get the most beautiful vellums pre-printed. I'm just going to show you some of these. They have the most beautiful gold sheen. Now on their own they look stunning around a card. When you start to place them through openings, if you watch YouTuber Laurel Beard, she's just done a brilliant video about using vellum in cards. And I'm going to make a suggestion to you. She suggested using them in shaker cards, which I've never actually tried to do. But just look how beautiful a little bit of that would be on a card. How about that for a Valentine's card, a wedding card? I've actually got a New Year's Eve wedding coming up, so actually I might do something with that piece. But look around to see what type of vellums you can get. I probably bought these in a craft shop, but have a look on the internet and see what you can get. And the other thing that I did a couple of years back, I don't have a sample that I can show you, but if you have a die that will cut out segments, this die is like a sunburst, and it'll cut out all these small pieces. It means that when you cut that out, you can actually place something like vellum behind it, glue it with a piece of double-sided red tape, and then glue it down. And believe me, it turns a piece of craft card into something that's absolutely stunning and original. And nobody else will be sending Christmas cards like that. Here then are just some of the cards I've still got in my stash that I made years ago. White doesn't photograph very well, so wouldn't sell very well on eBay. But if I put those round in the charity shop, they do look classy. And all I've done is put that through an embossing folder, through my machine, and just highlighted with a silver marker pen, and then stamped on the inside. Likewise, a simple stencil with a greeting always goes down well, doesn't it? do remember that not everybody's going to have the best Christmas ever. They might be bereaved, and they might just want to know that you haven't forgotten them. And do remember to send appropriate sentiments to those people.